have some recommendations of some books and one DVD that our staff have been reading and watching that we wanted to share with you this month. I always ask the staff here for suggestions for the show, and it can be anything that we have in the library or that we've gotten from other libraries or just things that they've been reading. So this time I have some things that are slightly older, some things that are new, and just some things we want you to know about. So the first one is the DVD. I thought I'd start with that one. And it was one of our staff members who watched A Streetcar Named Desire for the first time. And this is what she said about it. That this is a classic film based on the Tennessee Williams play that was nominated for 12 Academy Awards and won 4 of them in 1951. This film stars the young and very handsome, with a little smiley face next to it, Marlon Brando and the beautiful Vivien Leigh. Brando's performance as the tough, brutal Stanley Kowalski is so powerful and filled with such rage and raw emotion, it's unbelievable. Vivien Leigh shines as the disturbed and confused Southern belle Blanche Dubois. If you've never seen this film or ever wondered where the classic film reference of Stella came from, check this film out. So that's Streetcar Named Desire. Something else you should know about our staff here is we're big-time animal lovers, and we have some people who are on Team Cat and some that are on Team Dog. I am personally on Team Dog. I'm a huge dog lover. I have one of my own, but I love everybody's dogs. I love everybody's cats too. I just like them to go with them and not with me. So one of our staff members read this one, which is All My Patients Have Tails, T-A-L-E-S, favorite stories from a vet's practice. And this one is a collection of stories by a veterinarian featuring wild horses, dogs covered in porcupine quills, male cats in labor, which is a little confusing, an extremely ornery pygmy donkey, and many other domestic and not so domestic animals. And it's his story. He begins as an inexperienced recent graduate and emerges as a caring and beloved veterinarian, narrating many uplifting, life-altering, life-threatening, and hilarious episodes along the way. Sounds like a really great summer read. All My Patients Have Tails. So staying with the same theme is Rin Tin Tin, The Life and the Legend. He believed the dog was immortal. So begins this sweeping, powerfully moving story of Rin Tin Tin's journey from orphaned puppy to movie star and international icon. From the moment in 1918 when Corporal Lee Duncan discovers Rin Tin Tin on a World War I battlefield, he recognizes something in the pup that he needs to share with the world. Almost 10 years in the making, Rin Tin Tin is a tour de force of history, human interest, and masterful storytelling, the ultimate must-read for anyone who loves great dogs or great yarns. I haven't read this one yet, but if it's a must-read for anyone who loves dogs, it's on my list. And the next one, keeping with our dog theme, I promise this is the last one. If you're a cat person, sorry, is The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein. This was a wonderful story about a family that is told from their dog's perspective. The main human character, Denny, is a semi-pro race car driver, and the story focuses on his family, struggles, tragedies, and triumphs. This was a book I couldn't put down, she says. As a dog lover, I found the voice of the dog Enzo so touching and true to the character of a sweet old dog. But you don't have to be a dog lover to love this book. So you cat lovers might like this one too, The Art of Racing in the Rain. We had a few nonfiction suggestions this time. This one, What Good is God in Search of a Faith That Matters? And this one is, the description said that this one is good for people who are in desperate need of assurance that their faith really does matter. The author visits 10 grief-stricken places across the globe, places like the motel where Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, the Virginia Tech campus soon after the massacre, an AA convention, different places where there was a lot of grief. And what he found is that people believe their faith really does work when it's severely tested. So if you're looking for something uplifting, this is a good book. Next up was this one called Drop Dead Healthy by A.J. Jacobs. He also wrote The Year of Living Biblically and The Know-It-All. And this book, she says it's a humorous approach to all sorts of current health crazes, and was very appropriate for us at the library right now, because we've been talking a lot among our staff about being healthy, and we participated in the town's wellness fair for town employees, and we've been doing a walking challenge and a weight loss challenge. So healthy living and fitness is just on all of our minds right now. But in every chapter, the author tries out a new health regimen, and at the end of each chapter, he reports his current weight and how that particular regimen affected him. And there are some tips at the end of the book too. But a humorous and kind of lighthearted look at different ways to be healthy. So Drop Dead Healthy. So now on to some fiction. This one is called Deathless. The person who picked this up heard it mentioned on Tom Ashbrook's Best of 2011, so that was how it caught her attention. It's a retelling of a Russian fairy tale set in 1920s Russia. She describes the author's writing style as very descriptive and very lyrical. So if that's the type of book you like, here's the good choice for you, Deathless by Catherine Valente. Next up is How It All Began by Penelope Lively. This staff person had never read anything by Penelope Lively before. Now I know what a shame that is and what I've been missing. How It All Began is a wonderful novel full of terrific characters, humor, and wisdom. I loved how an accident, and what she says was a mugging, becomes an example of the ripple effect, and how true it is, at least for these characters, that chance determines so much of life. The book deals with some pretty heavy issues, everything from aging to adultery to the financial crisis to love, and are handled with a light touch and humor. How It All Began is a book I want to tell all my friends to read. I think it would be an excellent choice for a book club, as there are many issues in the book to talk about. This was my first Lively book, but it will not be my last. So, big recommendation for How It All Began. Next one that was a recommendation was The Sea Captain's Wife, which actually came from another staff member, but it was one that I also read, I think when it first came out last summer, and I really enjoyed it. I tend to read a lot of books that are written for teens, because that's just the type of books that I really like. But I picked up this one after hearing about it at a librarian's meeting. Someone had read it and said it was good, and it was such a wonderful description of life at sea. It takes place on the Bay of Fundy in Maine in the 1860s, and it's a woman who marries a sea captain. She has always wanted to travel and go abroad, and she wants to travel with him. At first he won't take her, but she talks him into taking her and their young daughter, and it's the story of their adventures at sea. Some good things that she was hoping for, lots of danger and boredom and excitement, and it was just a really captivating story, and I loved how beautifully it was written. I felt like I was there, and when they were talking about how hot it was and there was no air moving and the ship just stopped, it was just stopped dead in the water. Like I had to go open a window. I feel like, oh, I need more air. She was a wonderful writer. It's by Beth Pounding. So Sea Captain's Wife, definitely a good summer read. And then the last one I have for you today is The Paris Wife. Paula McLean starts this book off slowly as the 28-year-old Elizabeth Hadley Richardson meets and falls in love with then unknown Ernest Hemingway. I've always been intrigued by Hemingway's larger-than-life personality. The author has woven a wonderful blend of fact and fiction to bring the story behind Hemingway's first wife and love Elizabeth Hadley Richardson to life. MacLean theorizes these ideas fully in this fictional account of their romance based on letters, written accounts, and Hemingway's story, The Sun Also Rises. This book is for anyone looking to revisit Paris during the 1920s. I got the feeling that while Hadley loved her husband dearly, she didn't really fit in with the group they were friends with, which included the Fitzgeralds, Ezra Pound, and Gertrude Stein, among others, since the lax morals didn't suit her upbringing. It's fascinating to read how she dealt with Hemingway's affairs and the fact that he brought his mistress, Pauline, into his home life. The book reminded me of Loving Frank by Nancy Horan, which I enjoyed. It even makes me want to go back and reread Hemingway's works. And I think that's one of the best things about books, when they lead you to other books by the same author or by the subject they're about. So The Paris Wife. So that's all the recommendations we have for you this month. I hope you'll come into the library and check them out.